All right, well, it's Monday morning and I'm already frustrated. Breakfast of champions, and I only drink this stuff in a case of emergency, and this morning is an emergency. Groggy as all can be, but what a morning, I'll tell you what. All right, so I ran and got gas. That was a fiasco, but we got it here. Problems with the pumps not working and then not having regular gas. Happened to buy mid-grade. Anyway, and I'm groggy mainly. I don't drink, so it's nothing like that. I'm mainly groggy because it was very cool last night, and I slept a little too long, I think. The first night that we had cool down into the low 60s at night, which was amazing. All right, these wheel weights, I'm spinning my wheels with them also. I went and got these bolts. I showed you guys, these are too short. These are 3/4 by, I don't know if that's 6. Too short. So I had to go to my hardware store, and this was all they had. And you see the condition of them. So I think I can clean them up and use them. Excuse me. These are, that beef jerky is working on me. These are like 8, 9, 10 inches long. And the reason these original ones that I bought didn't work, I do need these spacers, and I need 2 of them because with the, and this I'll help anybody else out that's ever going to do this, with this wedge lock style wheel, and this here just being wider than the other style of dish, the hole in the weight is not big enough of an opening to go around this, so I have to put spacers here to be able to set the weight flat against. So that's why I need such long bolts to make this work. So these bolts are I think it was $20 just for 8 of these bolts. So now I have all these that are an odd size. I can't return them, so I don't know, just a hectic morning. So let's try to get something done today. The main thing, I got to cut grass today. That's one side effect with the weather being the way it has been. You can mow grass every 2-3 days, but you can't mow grass every 2-3 days just because of the raining every other day. So I do have a bar that goes across here, like a cargo bar that I sometimes put the gas cans in and then put the cargo bar across, and then I just stack them up here. But I just use the ratchet strap. Back when I had my Ford F-150, I learned the hard way to strap these down very well because I had a solid plastic bed liner in that truck. One of my cans dumped over. I didn't realize it until I got home. I had a bed liner filled with gasoline. So it's overkill, but I learned the hard way on that. All right, so I'm not going to cut grass yet. I don't need to bother videoing that. You guys don't need to see me cut grass, but I can't yet because it's still early. Sun hasn't been out. Dew on the ground. So I'm going to get some gloves and so I don't pinch my fingers, and try to put one weight on and see if these bolts that I just bought are going to work. So I want to get these out of the way because here they're sitting in the way here. So let's take 2 here on the wheel weights for the International 986. So let's go again. Yes, you're seeing this correct. I did buy rusty bolts. They might even be used. Good thing they weren't very expensive. Okay, new problem. We got one on. You'll see I had to space them a little bit. I'd say it's probably, if I had to guess, maybe 3/4 of an inch, just to get it out past this here. But it's on and it looks all right. The problem is I did not buy enough spacers. I needed 2 per bolt, and I only had enough to do this one side. So I'll be making the 3rd trip back to the hardware store because I need 2, 4, 6, 8 of those bushings to do the other side. But before I go, I want to hang the 2nd weight on just to make sure the bolts I got for the 2nd weight are the right length, because they might not be right. So you'll see, maybe it won't. Let me come back. All right, so you'll see the bolts are plenty long. I did have to put a spacer, a washer, a lock washer, and a real wide nut that is on there. These are sticking out pretty far. That's okay. I had planned to have extra because if I ever get to a sale and find a set of split weights at a reasonable price, we'll put a set on the inside. That way, all I have to do is basically just take the nuts off and all the washers, and I can stick a weight on, and we should have enough slack there. So you may ask again why I'm hanging all these weights. And another question you might ask, or statement, I should have painted the dish before I put these on. And yeah, that would have been a good idea. But anyway, the reason I'm putting weight on this tractor is with this turbocharger, and I have the manifold and the old air intake, and I have all the old stuff to put it back to the original 986 horsepower, to put it back to 105. I may turn the fuel down a little bit on it. It's pretty high right now. The trouble is with 18.4s and no duals, and a lighter tractor, the 986 is a little lighter than like your 14 or 1586. These tires just spin like crazy when you are doing tillage. Now granted, all I'm doing is pulling a baler, but I'm thinking eventually there's gonna come a time when I'm gonna have to do some type of tillage somewhere eventually, and this thing is just not very, I mean, it's a real fine line in the throttle between the wheels spinning and it having traction. And like I say, the other reason is I'm still debating whether I want to get away from the calcium. So anyway, enough talking. Let me hang the second set of weights on and see if my bolts are good. If they're good, then I just have to run and get 2, 4, 6, 8 spacers. So I'll come back with you. Okay, we got the second weight mounted on here. Much better. That's solid. Won't lose the weights. That adds some weight to the tractor. To revisit an earlier statement of mine, yes, this is pulling a baler, but I forgot. This year is the first year. When I first bought the tractor, that's all I had planned for it. But now I have a fertilizer spreader that's at least 5 ton. Not what it weighs. I'm thinking the capacity is around 5 ton. So that's going to be pretty heavy. And manure spreader, hauling manure. I'm still kicking around, looking around for a half decent manure spreader. Yes, I can use my neighbor's. I want to try to find something that has a better spread pattern. Using a rear beater with no litter pan underneath. What I was finding was it really didn't spread very nice. It was kind of lumps here and lumps there, and with poultry litter, trying to meter out 3 tons to the acre, it's just not a very easy thing to do. I think I have my mind set on like a side slinger that you can just open the door a little bit to try to meter it a little better, and I do like the side slinger manure spreaders. So those are 2 things that I didn't have before, and I don't know if I'm going to buy a spreader yet. It all depends on how harvest goes. It all depends on money, and if this chicken manure is going to be a regular occurring thing. So yes, you'll notice I only put 2 bolts in the outer weight. That's plenty to hold this. These are the only solid holes, through holes. These are these half notched holes, and the trouble with that is it takes a different size bolt for one. It's not a 3/4 bolt, and I think these are meant to be the square heads because it has, yeah, it's too, you can't put a washer on the backside because it's beveled like this. It's meant to have a through bolt through here with the square head to lock it in place in the inside. Not going to even worry about it. 2 grade 5 bolts will hold 150 pounds. It's going to hold a heck of a lot more than that. So no problem there. All right, so I got to make a run, and I did run out of lock washers. Yeah, I don't have enough lock washers, so I need to remember lock washers and spacer bushing. So let me go make a run. I gotta pull my truck out anyway. I have to turn this tractor around to get at the other side. It's against the wall. So we got 300 pounds on, so let me make a run. I'll get the other 300 pounds on. All right, we got to turn around here. I'm back from my 3rd or 4th trip. I got some more of these spacers. That's the thickness. If you can get that thickness, you can use any of these weights. You don't have to buy the special weights to fit on these dishes. So comes in handy, and I needed some, I don't know, I have so many 3/4 bolts and washers, and this got a little expensive here in a hurry, but at least we have what we need. Let me hang some more weights on the tractor. All right, it is a little while later. You can see we got them on here. Pretty good. Not a bad project here at all. Should pretty well be maintenance free. I've got them on without knocking the valve stem off. So one guy, not too bad, 150 pounds, and that's nothing. So we got it weighted down a little bit better. We'll see how it does on the manure spreader, baler, and the fertilizer spreader. I do like this tire on this side, but this tire calcium's there. So another reason, either I got to fill this side or just take it out. I don't know. I have to decide on this yet. And there's no reason to think about it anymore now, because it'll probably won't be till winter time till we deal with it. So for now, should be good to go. We got weights on. My Craigslist purchase worked out pretty darn good. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.